didn't notice yet, love is sort of our theme this month. Did you get that?
I got it.
That? All right, good. We're planting that into your subconscious. Love. Whatever the question is, the answer is always love. Our speaker this morning is our monthly Reverend Doug Craig. And I'm sure, anyone here new to Reverend Doug Craig? Anyone? All right. Well, then I don't need to say a whole lot more then, do I? He is going to share with us, if I am divine love and made of love, then how come I don't always feel like it? Let's get started and find out the answer. Please help me welcome Reverend Doug Craig.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Doug. How's it? Oh, hi, Steph. Yeah, so that's great. Yeah, I love that song. The answer is love. And that's one of the key things that what we're working with, and of course it's Valentine's Day and all that nice stuff. So to start out with, I'm going to take a different approach to start out before I start talking about what the topic is. And just a couple of quotes here I want to read first. One by Emmett Fox. God is love, and he that dwelleth in love dwelleth in God, and God in him. And then, of course, another wise teacher by the name of Jesus said, a new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another, as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. By this shall men know that ye are my disciples, if ye have love one for another. My favorite quote comes from a reading that I'm going to do from Dr. Ernest Holmes' book, The Science of Mind. And he wrote an interpretation of what Jesus said there in John 13, 34, and 35. And I think you'll really enjoy this. I really like it. He says that love is the central flame of the universe, nay, the very fire itself. Love is an essence, an atmosphere which defies analysis, as does life itself. It is that which is and cannot be explained. It is common to all people, to all animal life, and evident in the response of plants to those who love them. Love reigns supreme all over. The essence of love, while elusive, pervades everything, fires the heart, stimulates the emotion, renews the soul, and proclaims the spirit. Only love knows love, and love knows only love. Words cannot express its depth or meaning. A universal sense alone bears witness to the divine fact, God is love, and love is God. To him who hath loved much, much is forgiven. A man may have many shortcomings, but if he loves greatly, much will be forgiven him. People are dying for real human interest, for genuine friendship, for someone to tell them that they are right. We always welcome the man who looks at the world as his friend and loves it. And it is the law that the man who sees what he wants to see, regardless of what appears, will someday experience in the outer what he has so faithfully seen within. So, if love is everything, and we are in essence of the Spirit is in us, so love is automatically there. And one of the things that we do is we spend a whole lot of time, which is good, this is good, affirming, loving affirmations about ourselves and people around us, and doing loving things. However, no matter what you do, aren't those days come when you ask yourself, why don't I feel like it? Does everybody have those days? Of course we do. So I'm going to take three approaches here. I'm going to give you something that you can do to stop doing. Hey, how about that? Something to do to stop doing. That's almost an oxymoron. So there are certain things that one needs to practice to cease doing in their life, because the flame is already there. It shines. The only reason it doesn't shine out is because of distortions. And a lot of times those distortions are created in our thinking, so it doesn't even have a chance. So the first thing that we want to look at is enhancing love in our experience. And again, I'm not going to focus in on what you need to do, because you're going to get a lot of that this month, and I think a lot of people got a good idea. What I want to focus in on is what we must stop doing, and when we do that, that light can shine. That's the key. So here we go. Worry. Anybody do worrying? Doubt. Fear. Now all three of those things have one thing in common. They're either based on the future or based on the past. We don't have any control over those things, folks. None. Louise Hay, in You Can Heal Your Life, said the point of power is in the present moment. The present moment is all we have, and if we can keep doing good things in the present moment, then that which is to come will be easier to receive and deal with, and that which is past will be able to be easier to leave it where it belongs, in the past. Oh yeah, every now and again we think people tell you, well, you gotta go find out what the cause of it is and get it fixed. Everybody ever heard that? No, I do not ever do any work with anybody that wants to get a problem fixed. Because if you want to look for problems, I have a free counseling session where it's for 2 hours. I guarantee I can find enough problems with you to work on for the next 5 years, and then you get a free comeback for problems for all your life. If that's what you want to do. It's not about that. It's about moving forward and being centered in the present moment with that, and knowing that what you're doing is going to create a better opportunity for one. So it's the worrying, doubt, and fear that we got to work at dealing with. And you might say, oh, that's easy for you to say. Of course it is. It's easy for anybody to say. Talk is cheap, folks. It is. It's doing the doing that gets you the grass. And gets you the grass greener on the other side of your stuff. We'll leave that. Next, self-condemnation, self-criticism, self-devaluation, and self-defeating negative thinking have to stop. Because how can you convince yourself you're a loving, beautiful human expression of God in its own unique way when we keep browbeating ourselves with all those negative comments about ourselves? You can't do it that way, because part of us is pulling forward with that yearning of spirit to express, and the other part of us is shutting it down. Because how could I be a loving expression of God if I'm an idiot, or stupid, or dumb, or not good enough, or not worthy? I imagine you got a few others. I'm not going to take a poll here because I don't think we have enough time to add them all. Right? Okay, and you might say it's easy to stop. Yeah. Well, you know, when I took my first, this was a 1 year BC, 1 year before church. Actually, it was 40 years ago in February. I turned on a radio, and there it was. Of course, I don't know why. I wasn't into this stuff, not anything. And I didn't know what was going to happen to me in the next year to give me a chance to use it. But it was a program called Mind Dynamics by a guy called John Kehoe. A 4-week course. There's books out on it now. And I took that, and he presented spiritual principle in a generic way. And I kind of liked it. And I thought, isn't that strange I'm doing this? You know how you do that and then you get your answer? Okay. Well, love works the same way. If you can work at being in the present moment and quit browbeating and getting down on yourself, you might not see the results right away, but you will see results that you never believed possible. Okay? And the reason being is, as you're trying to change an old habit, it doesn't want to go. It fights to stay. So it takes persistence. And you know, I don't think I'm a rotten guy nearly as much now as I did way back when I knew I was. Okay? But we still do that. And that negates all that because we do still do it. No matter how much you get, how good you are, still a spiritual being in a human experience, you're going to do that stuff. So we just want to balance the scales the other way and work at it. Now, in my research, this is what was it, BCAC, after church, okay? And I got into it. What I did was, for me, I found 2 key things to help me reconcile why I don't feel like being a loving person all the time. And it doesn't matter what I do, why does that happen? Okay, so here we are, grandfather clock. Okay? Tick, tock, tick, tock. It doesn't go tick, 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 right? So it's the pendulum, folks. There is a pendulum that swings. And it'll swing up here. And that's when everything's wonderful. Oh, God is good. And when people say to me, oh, how are you doing? Oh, it's wonderful. I say, enjoy it, it won't last. Then the pendulum swings back over here and is, yeah. People ask them how you're doing. Oh, it's just terrible. I said, enjoy it. It won't last. Have you ever noticed that no matter how miserable you are, eventually it goes away? Don't you notice that how good you are, eventually it goes away? Have you ever stopped to wonder why? Well, we're going to go into a little bit of Fritzoff, Capra, and Gary Sukoff, and quantum physics and stuff like that, as well as a little bit of religion and stuff like that, whatever you need. Basically, nothing can exist in this physical world apart from everything unless it has its own distinct energy field to support it. I can prove it to you, and you can prove it to anybody. Just get that far away with someone with your hands and bring them close slowly, and then you'll feel the other person. You'll feel the energy. And boy, I'll tell you, with this crowd and the way we believe, it'll be really strong. Guarantee it. Just like when you walk into a room and somebody there is just not there, they're south of everything, and you know it. Maybe not who, but you can pick up that. So energy's all around us. Every energy field has polarity. Your battery, you get the juice to start everything from the positive pole. But it don't work if the negative don't work. It's a polarity in your battery. There is a polarity in you because if you did not have an energy field to support you, you'd blend into the nothingness. And you'd be part of the stuff of everything that we're all part of. Okay? So we have that energy field. And how it really amplifies with the biggest tick, which also gives us the biggest talk, is with our strengths. Because our greatest strength is also our greatest weakness. Now, I've had people say, oh, that's not true. Well, I'll give them a half hour with me, and they'll be going, oh, geez, I never looked at it like that. Yeah, it's true, trust me. If not, we could do a program and you could see. Okay? So, you can't avoid it. You notice that the clock doesn't go tick, tick, tick. Oh, it'd be nice if it did. But it goes talk, talk, talk. So, through observation is the only way you could deal with it. Now, I'm going to tell you how I learned to deal. Well, I won't tell you what I learned. I'll tell you the experience that you're going to have. When you go up here and everything's feeling good, this is how you maintain it. You just keep feeling that positive energy. You keep being grateful. You keep being thankful. And you stay away from, oh, I got a handle on this now. No problem. Anybody ever do that and get their butt kicked? Because that's going to happen every time. Okay? So when you get stuck in your ego and start feeling way too good and get into your human self instead of your spiritual self, guess what? Because it's going to come back sometime, but if you're doing the right things, you can hold it up there, but eventually, especially if you get into your ego, it goes whoosh, way back the other way. And then it comes over here. Now I'm going to tell you, when it gets up here, and it does for everybody, we always get a little on edge. What I found the best strategy when I'm in that space is keep my mouth shut. A. B. Plan very carefully what I'm going to say and how I'm going to say it. Because if not, it's going to be from that part of the talk. And the energy isn't going to be that great. Okay? You cannot avoid that. And when you're in that flow of the talk, it's the hardest time to maintain that loving experience. That's why I say, why don't I feel like it when that's happening? Well, that's the challenge that we have. And so it'll go away faster. However, sometimes you can drag those on for a long time, and I'm going to tell you how you do it. So next time you get the talk coming, you can drag it out and make it worse. You want to know how to do it?
Oh, thank you.
Okay. I'm going to tell you. See if you do that. When you get into that space, first thing you got to do is find something to complain about. You got to get something to get upset about. Then you got to find somebody to take it out on or blame. And then you got to get into a rile about how life was unfair and all of that. Does that sound familiar? Yeah. Okay, right, you got that, right? Yeah. And that holds the talk up there. Oh, it holds it up there as long as you keep that attitude. As soon as you let it go, it flows back the other way. So you got the natural flow you can't avoid. All you have control and power over is what you do on the tick and what you do on the talk. Okay? Physics. It's there. The second thing is something that is not natural, but everybody has it. Let me do an experiment here. Has anybody ever looked at a 3 or 4 month or 5 month old baby and looked, oh, what a vulgar, terrible, negative little creature that is? Anybody ever seen one of those? Well, folks, remember, we were all like that once. So what happened? What happened? What happened to take that away from us? What happens is, as we're children growing up, bulk of my work went back to prior to age 10. What happens is we have experiences, and as adults we explain it logically and things like that, oh, kids, they get over it fast, blah, blah. And nobody ever thinks about the kid's feeling. They think about the condition. We figure it out logically as adults. So the kid grows up with a belief that is negative about themselves. Yeah, we all know about that. And so in my work, I found out, because when I went there to 12 steps, you know, when I first started, they had, make a list of all the things you done rotten, and then you got to make amends to them. I'm going, I got volumes, and that's just what I can remember. I can't do that. What I found out was I didn't do 3,000 or 4,000 rotten things, and that's conservative. I did 3 or 4 things 1,000 times over because of my belief system. And so we developed this belief system. Unless we go and work at healing it when we finally have the lights go on, then we carry this around with us, around with our positive beliefs. They both work the same way. Because the nice thing about it, doesn't matter whether we believe we're stupid or whether we're wonderful, we get to be right about both of them. And if we believe we're wonderful, we'll draw experiences of people to us that'll reflect that. And if we believe that we're stupid, guess what? We get to do stupid things. I'm only telling you this not because I seen somebody else or worked with them. No, I did this myself. Okay. My biggest one was, no matter what I do, it's just not good enough. I could turn cartwheels, it's not good enough. That come from my mom. So I finally, when I got into this, after It was 5 years into this, I finally got to the point of understanding what this was about. And I went to heal. So I go to my mom, and I got to talk to her about it. And I said, you know, Mom, something puzzles me. All the time when I was growing up, it didn't matter what I did. Didn't matter anything I did. She always said, oh, Doug, that's great. That's wonderful, but you can do better. Got it? So what did the child hear? Child heard, no matter what I do, it's still not good enough. What did Mom say? Oh, she said, that was easy. That was my way of motivating you. So for her, she did it for motivation. The child heard it, didn't matter what I did, it was never good enough. Right? So I carried that burden around, and then I met some very nice people in relationships. And gee, I did nice things for them, and they liked it, which was good, but I wasn't getting what I needed. I was needed, it's not good enough, so I do more and more till I got to be a pest about it, and then I got spurned, and then I was right. Don't matter what I do, it's not good enough. You listening to that? You need to find those folks, because you only got a few, 3, 4, maybe 5, but they're the ones that are plaguing you. Those are the ones that we've accepted. And by the way, as adults, our children, when we accept that, we go about doing things to overly compensate for it to make it not right. So I would do all kinds of good things for people, okay, to compensate for that. No matter what I do, it's not good enough. Another one of my negative belief systems, you might find this hard to believe, was I am incompetent. Okay? Now I didn't get that. Academically I was okay, but I couldn't fix cars, I couldn't do artwork, and I wasn't an athlete. Everybody else was, but not me. I'm incompetent. That's the world, that's the message I got from the world around me. Oh yeah, look at that, you can't even stand up on your skates. Incompetent. So I went about in my life, once I started turning around, to be extremely competent in areas where most people would never know that I have a feeling that I'm incompetent. You'd never know that, would you? Okay? So we have to learn how to deal with those things, because we all have them. And over a period of time, I can tell you 100% that they diminish. And by the way, a period of time, it ain't no instant fix here, folks. Over a period of time, those things begin to dissipate, and that which is already there naturally has no obstructions to express. What is it? Peace, prosperity, fulfillment, and happiness. I think those are just 4 words that mean love, right? So that's the goal. I can promise you that if you work towards that and try to understand those 2 aspects of yourself, okay, that negative belief system, okay, and the pendulum, if you work at understanding those 2 parts of yourself and resolving them, I will guarantee you 100%, I'll stand here and say it, that if you do that, the gift you're going to get is you're going to have more peace, you're going to have more prosperity, you're going to have more happiness, and a feeling of fulfillment. And by the way, I don't think you ever really get there, okay? But it's a journey, and I'm really, just the last 5 years or so, I'm really starting to notice it. Well, I don't want to wait 35 years. Well, what the hell are you going to do with the other 35 anyhow if you're not waiting and working on it? You're here anyhow, right? Doesn't matter how long you're here for, you might as well try and enjoy it, right? So that's the key there is really learning to uncover that negativity that we have so that we can be free from it. And those negative affirmations really come to be free when one learns how to express themselves appropriately in a non-adversarial way. So there I am, 17 years, crime, violence, 10.5 years, motorcycle gang. I do not know how to express myself any way other than physically, intimidation, or manipulation. I was very good at it. So now when I get into my program, the Spirit gives me this way that I got to learn how to get in touch with my feelings. And then I got to learn how to identify them, because all of those negative feelings are an I am not good enough, or whatever the case may be. Then I got to learn how to let that feel and hurt, so I go through the catharsis. Now I'm ready for the real test. The real test, and you got to try this. Like, if you're a big hardcore guy like me, and lots of hardcore men, corporate executives do this. This is what you do on my program. Once you get through that, then you go back to that person, that individual, whoever it is, wherever they are, and you say, you know, the other day when you said or did that, I felt I'm not good enough. No justifying, no blaming, no attachment outcome. You do that and turn around and walk away, you're great. I had one guy, he was the head of the commercial banking of a big corp here. And he was my client, and when you got these things, you'll always find somebody to take it out on. Whatever your strength is, you'll find somebody. I don't care who you are and think you don't do it, I'll find it for you and guarantee you're going to be shocked. Well, this guy, banking, big shot, his was checkout girls in checkout stands that he treated like crap. So that's where he got that end out. So I had him go back to a half a dozen different stores. When he started working with me, he started shopping in different stores. We didn't have to go back to the same one. True. Yeah, but he did it. He went back to the girls there, and he had to wait and find the right shift, the right one, to make sure it was her. And then go back and go through the checkout line just to do that, nothing else. Don't buy nothing, just that. Okay, the guy had the moxie to do it, and it changed his life. Okay. One other guy I worked with that had that. He was a street kid. He's not a kid now. He'd been 17, 18 years on the streets. He was gay, a male prostitute, and a hardcore crack addict. So we got going on this, and he got doing that. And what happened is he then went and did some courses and wanted to give back to the community he knew, so he was a supervisor at the drop-in center. Because he's the guy that really knows how to help some of those guys that want help. Okay? So all it is, folks, is knowing that there is nothing wrong with anybody here. Zero. Nothing. You want to be more of all of that? You already are all you need to be. Be clear on that, please. You don't need to be anything more than what you are. All one needs to do is watch your thinking, what you're saying, be aware of the pendulum, and then have the courage to be able to delve into understanding what your negative belief system is so that you can take proactive action and be free from it. You do those. I thought after I did that, then I would have to work on the peace and the love and the prosperity. No, it don't work like that. You do this, that's automatically there. It automatically reveals itself. It can't help it. Because it is, you see. What we're dealing with isn't. Those are distortions. Those are lies that we've accepted that are not the truth of who and what we are. And in the case of my mother, it was done in a positive way. Well, it's not how I felt. And it didn't really matter how positive she was. What really makes a difference is how I experience things. Don't matter how anybody else is. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how much they know, what they think, how good they are, how rich, poor. What really matters is what you think and what you do, because that's going to be your experience. And that's how you're going to be able to relate to everybody and everything around here. So, Anthony, could you come up and get ready here? Because we're going to go into our closing meditation. And what I'm going to ask you to do is follow me and let go of the lie. So the goal here is being willing to let go of the lies and embrace who and what we are. As Louise Hay said, I love and approve of myself. And as I say, exactly as I am. Because you can't start anywhere else.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
So I invite you to go within, to that secret place of the Most High, and just be here in the present moment, for the point of power is always in the present moment. And so as we join here in consciousness, we do so knowing there is one eternal life, forever giving of itself, and that's God's life, and that's our life, right here and right now. So there's a willingness within myself, and I invite you to partake of it. There's a willingness within me to let go of the lies, to let go of worry, doubt, fear, to let go of self-criticism, self-condemnation, and self-devaluation, and self-defeating negative thinking. And a willingness right here and right now to embrace self-acceptance, self-worth, self-value, positive self-thinking, and to always remain humble and walk in and with faith. So let's just take a few moments of silence to really appreciate who and what we are and the potential that we have to experience peace, prosperity, fulfillment, and happiness. So just feel that love and that energy that you are within, and allow it to flow. And so let's just bring ourselves back and sing together. to express the highest and best that we are in everything that we do, and to the best of our ability to maintain that and to accept that we are worthy of the very best in life, and we lovingly accept this now. We give thanks, we let it be so. So.